Welcome, everybody.
Hey, hey. Good boy, Tucker.
Work smarter where you want.
This is learning at its most fun.
Hi, thank you so much for attending our How to Handle Client Loyalty webinar today. Today we're going to be covering kind of that different area from efficiency and streamlining productivity into focusing on more of our client relationship. Now, I definitely know that there are a lot of different fields in Redtail, and something that we do frequently get told is, do we have to fill out all the information? And you know, we always advise that you should fill out as much as you know, but if you don't necessarily have a use for that information, I would totally understand if you're questioning why we should then necessarily fill it out. So, for example, utilizing some of the client loyalty sections within Redtail can be a great way to segue into utilizing those new fields of information. But before we jump in, we want to make sure that we're still being smart about filling out certain categories. So obviously there are the categories that we're going to absolutely need. For example, name, address, phone number, social security, gender, birthday. We want to know basic things about our clients, or arguably with some of those, the more important things about our clients, not only so we can have that information, but also so that we can address some of their very basic level needs, maybe without always asking the clients their information. Now, on the flip side of that, there is also what is nice to have? What is something that could potentially be beneficial to our company or our firm in the long run that maybe we're not necessarily utilizing for efficiency or for streamlining in Redtail? So that brings us to what would maintain or help us enhance that client relationship in Redtail. So let's begin by discussing, what is client loyalty? You know, to us, it is encouraging and embracing the client's relationship to create a healthy relationship for future and present goals. So whether that is for, you know, something that you would like to, maybe you want to achieve more accounts or opening more accounts with a potential client in the future, or have them transfer more accounts with your particular group, or maybe it's something that presently they're working on a goal and you just got that new client and now we want to make sure that they continue to grow with you and that they feel trustworthy and that they feel like they're being taken care of with your firm. Now, this also means that in the future, like we talked about for those gains, this could mean future referrals from family. So this could be children that potentially stay on with you after they've appreciated and become adults. This could also potentially be friends. So maybe they're just so excited with how well you're treating them and how seriously you take client loyalty that it's hard to not tell somebody about it. I mean, do you have like a favorite landscaper or contractor or even a favorite restaurant that you go to? And you go almost specifically because you want to see your favorite server, you want to see your favorite service advisor, you want to see someone that you know is going to take care of you and genuinely cares. Which brings us into our final point, which is, of course, we would hope that you are retaining clients because you genuinely care about their financial success and their future. Obviously, I think everyone on the call definitely cares a lot about their clients and wants to see them succeed. And that is something important that we want to continue to tell them, because, you know, it's hard sometimes to find people that genuinely care and want to be honest with you. And finally, I think everyone or most people on the call probably know, but retaining clients costs a lot less than onboarding new clients, putting them through that system again, and making sure that they stay on once they're prospected and onboarded into actual clients. Maintaining clients is so much easier than onboarding new clients and prospecting new clients. Not to mention, it's a lot more fiscally responsible to retain those existing clients as opposed to constantly just having to prospect for new ones and gather them up quickly and then see them all fall off. So if you're someone who loves to prospect, we can definitely incorporate that into client loyalty as well, because hopefully if you're prospecting a ton of clients, you should be keeping a ton of clients too. Now, just like with cleaning up data, we kind of need a place to start. So like I said, just like with cleaning up data, we want to start with our highest tier clients. Now, what does this mean necessarily? This could mean just how you're defining them, essentially. How are you defining that relationship with that contact? Are you potentially someone who is, I would advocate for utilizing status and category for those particular clients. How are you ranking them? Now, we have lots of other videos and articles in Redtail about how to categorize clients based on status and category. But for now, a great way to categorize those particular clients could be by AUM. So by their monetary value, if that's easiest for your firm, you know, maybe all of your clients that have over $150,000, they are a AA client, and then everyone above 500,000 is a AAA, or however you choose to tier them. You could also do potentially by who needs the most attention. You know, I do have clients that come to me and they say, you know, Jackie, we don't really want to rank ours by AUM. That doesn't really feel right. And I say, okay, that's totally fine. But think about it like this. Which clients need the most attention? Some clients, maybe even though they only have a certain amount of money or maybe not as much money, they could need or want more to ask more questions or just to contact you more or need more reassurance than someone that maybe has more accounts. So maybe you're ranking them on how often you need to contact them, how much attention they need, how high maintenance they are. As well as you could also classify them by how new they are. I mean, do you want to throw all of your energy into your newest clients to make sure that their first couple weeks with you are really prosperous and that they feel like they are a part of a team that really cares and wants to make sure that they don't feel like they're alone in this financial process? As well as it could be generational. You could absolutely rank them by potentially how many clients you have in your system and how those clients relate to other clients. So maybe if you've had a family that's been with you for 5 or 6 generations or wow, that's a really long time. That dates back all the way back. Maybe we'll just go 1 or 2 generations. 1 or 2 generations. Maybe you have the grandparents and then their children and then their great grandchildren all in your system. Maybe that's how you're ranking, how you're going to pay attention to these clients. But regardless of how you rank them, once you decide how you're going to rank them, then we can actually jump in and start to look at those areas that maybe we could expand a little bit, particularly for that client loyalty. So let's pop into our system. And I'm gonna swing on in here for a second. Oh, you get a beautiful view of my dog who happens to be, oh, she's sleeping right behind me. So let's pop into our system and I'm gonna introduce you to one of my favorite clients. This is Miss Elsa of Arundel, and I am just utilizing my recently viewed up here. So I like to call this guy, if I mention him in the future, this little person, our little Redtail cheerleader. They're very excited to be in Redtail, just like me. So we're gonna come up here and in the recents tab, I can click on Miss Elsa, and Miss Elsa is one of my most important clients by far. She is a very important person. Don't know if you know, she's a queen. She has a really cool sister and they love ice. But down here, we can see these contact details. So now that we've kind of decided how we're gonna rank our clients, we can decide some of these sections. Now we can differentiate the ones that maybe we could fill out versus the ones that we may not utilize as much. For example, when we click our edit category, we can see that we can change our status. So we can update our status if we needed to, as well as if we wanted to upgrade Elsa or downgrade her. But there's also a couple of other categories that we can utilize here. For example, the referred by section. So if you potentially need to link any contacts, like if we wanted to link her sister Anna as her referral, we could put Anna in here as well to help track those familial bonds, as well as we have the ability to put in a birthday here. So Elsa's birthday was actually, it's the winter solstice and her sister's the summer solstice. So Elsa was born on the 22nd. Now this is one of the perfect opportunities to utilize in Redtail for client loyalty. A birthday is something so simple that we can do to make someone feel special, to potentially reach out and just say, you know, happy birthday, or, you know, hey, we hope you have a great birthday month. It doesn't necessarily have to be on that day. But for something like this, it could be as simple as, oh, okay, well, Elsa's birthday is, you know, next week or next month or this month. we could just easily come in here and give her a ring on the phone. If we wanted to, we could say, hey, we're just going to call our office, maybe leave a voicemail. I do know of an office that calls, and if you don't pick up, they sing to you on your voicemail. So I think that's cute. As well as you could send Elsa an email. You could easily send her a happy birthday email, or even from here, just send her maybe a card. You could send her an old-fashioned card if she wanted one. But that's a great way. The birthday is an excellent spot in Redtail that we can utilize for that client loyalty specifically. Now, another really good section that we actually passed while we were in this particular area would be the marital status, or potentially, oh here, let me click back into the edit section, the marital anniversary. So Elsa's not married, but if she were married and we were to select a marital anniversary date, that is absolutely a whole other section that we can call on later to see, how can we honor our clients? How can we make them feel appreciated? An excellent, once again, you can send out cards. I know offices that send out all sorts of really cool stuff. I know for anniversaries, especially because you can get a little bit more romantic, you can send out, wine or their favorite particular beverage. There's a ton of different options that you can utilize for this area as well. And then also in here is going to be this client sense date. And I have to say, this is probably one of the most underutilized fields in Redtail. So the client sense date is going to tell you exactly that. How often have they been a client? Like, when did they become a client? Is their anniversary coming up? When did they sign on with you? And something that I think a lot of people forget about is that it doesn't necessarily have to be on that day. For example, it doesn't have to be on Elsa's marital anniversary or on her exact birthday or even on the exact client sense date. It could potentially be a notification for that month. Maybe you notify all your clients that month that you're excited that they, are hitting their 1 year, 5 years, 6 year anniversary with you, because really that's a huge milestone. It's hard sometimes to be somewhere for an entire year, especially after the year that we all just had. Like, it's been a rough one. So maybe it's a good idea to send out a card that's like, hey, we got through 2020 and you've been with us for a year now, or you've been with us for over 5 years. We got through 2020 together. It's actually a really good card. Someone should do that. Now from here, once we fill in those dates, and just for presentation's sake, I'm going to put in a marital anniversary for Queen Elsa here, and we're going to update our contact. So now that we kind of see these different areas that we can plug in these dates, there is an area that we can see them. For example, one of the best places that you can see your reminders once we plug in these dates in these fields is going to be the Today page. So if we plug into the Today page here, and we can see, okay, we've got a couple of different options. I'm sure you all are very familiar with your Today page. We can see on our reminders up here, as well as we also have a reminders tab right here. But if you scroll down just a little further, you'll also see that there is a whole dedicated section for today's birthdays as well as the upcoming reviews. So for example, if we had any birthdays today, or maybe you're someone who has a smaller practice, you could always just come into your Today page every day, see if you had any contacts, maybe give them a call, send them out a quick card, whatever works for you. Now, if you are potentially a larger practice, this may not work as well for you. So I would recommend, especially if you have like over 100 clients, maybe you have like 5 birthdays a day or something crazy like that, you can come up again to this reminders tab right here. And if we click in, it will show you all of the current reminders that you have in your system. So these reminders are need to be filtered down just a little bit. So if you come up to the top right-hand corner and you click the filter button, you should be able to see all of your birthday reminders, for example, the renewal reminders, those anniversary reminders we talked about, and potentially also those wedding anniversary reminders. So this is kind of a one-stop shop to see all of your upcoming reminders. So let's click on those birthday reminders. Let's see if we have any. Oh, look, Ariel's 32nd birthday is coming up, so maybe we should definitely give her a call soon, or send her a card. If she's still in Atlantica, that might get a little wet, so maybe a shell call is a little easier for Ariel. But these are just some of the ways that we can utilize in one spot those particular reminders that are coming up. Now, if we, for example, because Elsa's marital anniversary is today, we should be able to click into the marital anniversaries and see, there it is, Miss Elsa hanging out right there for us. So this makes it really simple for you and your team to access these very easy, simple ways to make someone feel special and to increase that client loyalty. Now, there is one other spot that we can view these reminders in, and that's going to be in the calendar. So if we click into the calendar, and you should, if you're utilizing your Redtail calendar, which I definitely would advocate for because it's so great to have everything just in one spot, you should be able to see all of your birthday and marital reminders as well as client since reminders. All you have to do is, if it's not turned on in your preferences already, is come up to this Actions tab right here. And we should be able to see show client birthdays, show client marital anniversaries. So we'll click on these two. And let's see, oh look, Elsa's marital anniversary came up. Now, something I do want to remind you all of is, if you do have your preferences set in on your calendar already, you could potentially be missing your weekends. So I am a very lucky soul and I love my job and I don't have to work on the weekends. But if I did potentially have a birthday on the weekend, I could miss it. So I have my calendar shut off so I don't see Saturdays and Sundays. If I did want to just check for birthdays, for example, I could come back up to that Actions button and select Show Weekends. And now it'll hopefully tell me if I have any birthdays that are kind of hiding on those weekends right there. Another really quick way that I would recommend is, if you're, like I said, if you're a larger firm and maybe you don't just want to check on a weekly basis whose birthdays or marital anniversaries or client since anniversaries are coming up, you can just select a month view as well, and that should hopefully give you a little bit more of a snapshot view at kind of what's coming up in the future. Perfect. And, I just want to reiterate, like I said, if you're someone who maybe doesn't know for sure the date or doesn't know exactly when someone was getting married, the month is just as good. I mean, I go to Wells Fargo, or I bank at Wells Fargo, and Wells Fargo wishes me a happy birthday the entire month of August. And, to me, I think that's good enough. So if you're someone who's like, I really want to contribute with client loyalty, I really want to take part in it, but I'm just not sure if I necessarily have all that client information, the month is okay. Or even if it's not the month, the first of the year is great. And just congratulating them on like a 40th wedding anniversary, or their 50th year alive, or their 6th year with the firm, whether it's just on that January 1st, because acknowledging those dates does make someone feel special, even if it's not perfect or the exact day that it happened. Cool. So now that we've kind of explored the different places that we can see those different reminders, there are some ways that we could potentially pull up this information in a more macro sense if maybe we needed to see, like we talked about, a mass amount of clients or their potential birthdays. Now, a really easy way to pull up this information is going to be through the advanced search. Now, what we can navigate over to our contacts tab on the left-hand side, right under calendar, and we'll click in here, and we can see that our advanced search pops up right away. If it does not, that's totally okay. Just make sure to click over here to the third option. But from here, what we can do is we can run a search and then access more possible reports to help us make this process even more efficient. I know I said we were stepping away from streamlining and efficiency today, but I just can't help it. It's a part of the CRM life. It's part of Redtail. You just get more efficient over time. Excellent. So from here, what we can do is we can run an advanced search. Now, there are lots of combinations for advanced searches that exist within the system, and there are other videos on advanced search. So I would, if you're feeling any confusion at any time, I would highly recommend either scheduling a training with us to kind of go over some of those methods, or looking in the help desk a little bit, because there are some great resources for the advanced search out there. But for this advanced search, we're going to begin by establishing that we want to pull up all of our active clients. So we're going to add a couple layers to our search today. So the first thing we're going to do is, like I said, pull up all those active clients. So if you are categorizing using status and category in the system, this should be pretty easy. So we can select contact under type. Our field is going to be status. Got to scroll down a little bit. There we go. Our operand will be equal to, and then we're going to select active. Perfect. Now, because like I said, we want to pull up those birthdays specifically, but we want to make sure that they're just those active clients. Now we can add that second layer where we can select contact again. And this time it'll be easy. So we have a couple of places that we can, we have a couple options we can select from in here. Like for example, you could select the exact date of birth. So if you wanted to just see everyone born on September 2nd for a particular year, this is what I would recommend. Potentially the date of birth month. So maybe if you wanted to just select a particular month, see everyone born in April or August or July, you could absolutely do that. Or you could just select the reminder. This just means that if they have a date of birth reminder, that they will be registered on this list. So let's select this one, and then let's select equal to and true. So this just means that it's going to pull up all the active contacts with birthday reminders. And let's select run. Okay, cool. So we have 21 records. Now, from here, we can do a couple of different things with these clients. So we're going to come over, and maybe we'll just select Mr. Peter Parker here. And actually, let's select a couple. Like I was talking about, so we can do a couple of different things at this point with the contacts that we pulled up. So if we venture over to this contact options, after we have a couple of our contacts selected, you can see that from here, we can create labels using their names. So if we maybe needed to send out a mailed letter to them, we could easily make a label to send it to them. We could do a mail merge. So we could create a letter or potentially create a birthday card or plug in that information. So that way it's easy for us to send something out and utilize that client loyalty. So that's what, actually, let's click on the mail merge. Let's run a mail merge together. And I just want to point out, so the mail merge will tell you how many records you are selecting for. So just be careful if you are maybe new to mail merges and you need to run like a test one before you run maybe 100. I have seen that I've seen that done, and it doesn't go well. But from here, we can, for example, choose, let's choose this quick letter. And we can even have the option to save this as a note to the contact card. So there's still a record that we sent it, but still a fun print off that we can make for that particular client. So we'll run our mail merge and we'll open it. And this is just a quick letterhead that we can run for it, but you can feel free to customize. Oh, and it went on, it went on my adjacent screen here. That's okay. But this is just going to be, like we said, a quick letter that you can run. These are actually templates that exist within Redtail that we can point out for you at any time. But from here, yeah, you can add a birthday card. You can copy and paste just maybe a big birthday message if you wanted to. But this should absolutely pre-print out for you to make that process even easier. Awesome. And then another really simple thing that we can do here is potentially notate that we should send these a week before, maybe a week, maybe 5 days before, depending on how far away the client is. So that way we can make sure that the mail gets to them on time. If you are utilizing that system where maybe we just wish everyone a happy birthday for the entire month, maybe a little easier, maybe a little more streamlined to help you finish that process even faster. So another way that we can take advantage of a simple way to, wish a happy birthday or a happy marital anniversary would be to send a broadcast email, which you can do directly from Redtail as well. Now, we could potentially, if we wanted to send it for every client that we have here. Ooh, I lost my mouse, everyone. I'm so sorry. There we go. She's back. They're back. So if we wanted to run a broadcast email in bulk, we could come back to this contact options section, come into bulk actions, and select broadcast email. So this should take you hopefully to your template. You should have a setup. You should have your email set up prior to this. So don't be like me. Make sure you have your email set up so I don't have to go through and change it. But if you did maybe just have one particular client that you're close with, or that you knew the birthday, or like we were discussing earlier, potentially referencing one of those AAA clients, what I would recommend doing first is adding another layer onto this search. And what we could do is search by contact, category, equal to, and let's just find our AAA clients. Let's see, do we have any? We do! Look at all these AAA clients. Wow, these people I have ranked very high. So I think these are the ones that we should probably send a broadcast email to first. And maybe, like we were discussing, however you want to rank your hierarchy in the system is how I would recommend kind of deciding how you want to handle client loyalty. It can be a big monster. So like I said, we're starting with our top 3, our AAA clients. Let's click into, oh, Christoph, perfect. I had no idea it was his birthday. Oh, he had a birthday reminder. Okay, cool. So we'll come in to Mr. Christoph's profile here. And, you know, like I said, if we just wanted to do something really personal for Christoph, you could absolutely do that too. All you would have to do is come up to these common tasks. And from here, we could run a mail merge. We could also potentially mark him as a favorite or add him to another tag group. So maybe if we wanted to have a group of just our particular clients that all had their birthdays and were AAA. Those would be really simple things that we could do for Christoph from here. Now, same thing goes with client since date as well. You could easily run a broadcast email or potentially, like we talked about, that mail merge. For any of those clients that maybe are maybe are married for 10 plus years or with your firm for a couple years, totally up to however your team wants to handle it. Now, another really good spot where we could potentially pull that macro information if we're more interested in maintaining those client profiles will be the reports section. So we can navigate onto the left-hand side and click on that reports button. So from here, if we scroll down to the bottom, okay, I guess I shouldn't have said the bottom. Right under permission reports or opportunity reports, you should also see reminder reports. So from here, what we can do is select just a report with potentially those birthdays, those client reviews, or even those client since anniversaries all in one location. So if we click on maybe the client since anniversaries, let's navigate here for a minute. What we can do is, now that we have the entire report in front of us, ooh, we only have one contact that has a client since anniversary coming up. Now, like I said, if maybe we wanted to expand that information, it looks like Peter's anniversary has already passed. So hopefully we already sent him a happy birthday or a happy thank you for being with us card. We can come up to the filter button in the top right-hand corner. And this gives us a couple of different ways to see our client anniversaries or potentially even our birthdays or those other reminders we discussed. So we could potentially look it up by status. So maybe we just want to see our active clients, or maybe our category one more time. So kind of like how we utilized our advanced search, we could absolutely just look up our top tier level of clients if we needed to. Maybe I'm just going to select our AA, AAA, single A, all the A's. And now we could see maybe we want to do 90 days past due, or maybe let's do like 90 days in advance. So as you can see from here, we can see 1 day in advance all the way to 365 days in advance. So like we kind of keep bringing up, if you are one of those firms that has a larger client base, I would absolutely recommend maybe running 30 days in advance, 60 days in advance to try to pull those as far ahead of time as possible to give you as much time to really make those clients feel special. Excellent. So I'm going to do 90 days. Oh, I did 60. Then we'll hit apply filters right at the bottom. And we went from, 1 to 0 entries. So this is probably a good wake-up call for me that I need to update my client since dates in the system. Instead of, let's leave all our categories blank here for a second. Oh no, I know I have clients in here. You all saw. There we go. Just got to find that magic combination. That's okay, because you know what this means? This means that I probably need to be more vigilant about acknowledging my clients since days in my system too. But as you can see here, we have all this information. We now see, okay, we have the anniversary dates are here, and okay, so these are going to be in April, and then we have July. We have one in July as well. Or no, that's their anniversary. This is their client since date. Yes, so this is their anniversary. This tells us how long they've been in the system. Oh, wow. Carl's wife has been with us for about 40 years. Wow, that's a very long time. Buzz Lightyear's been with us for 24 years. Oh my goodness, that's a very long time. So we should definitely do something special for them. But once we have this information, we can actually utilize the search option and send all of this information back over to our search. There we go. So now what we can do is bring all of these contacts here. So we could go back up to our contact options, run a mail merge, run a broadcast email for these particular clients to maybe make them feel special, make sure that on their client anniversary that they actually feel acknowledged, that they know that our firm is always in the forefront as a positive experience and makes them feel at least a little warm and welcome. Now, I know we've been discussing quite a bit how to kind of categorize these clients, how we should acknowledge them, how we should discuss with our team, how we can best utilize our client relationships. Now, if we pop back into our PowerPoint here for a second, this is something I would absolutely recommend. It's our Redtail communication guide. And this is just a way for you and your team to put together something simple so you all understand your ranking system in your personal CRM. Now, it can be very flexible, so you could absolutely venture off and kind of step away from your CRM for a little while and take that opportunity to get a little creative. Be excited to put these different options into the CRM, but also don't feel limited by just this chart. If your team finds that there's something better for you all, feel free to utilize that. These are just meant to be kind of a percolator to help get your brain going, help get your team's brain going, because I know we may not necessarily get to be creative all the time. So sometimes we need to get those juices flowing, or maybe get some help first before we really find that idea that latches onto us. Excellent. Now, other than our ranking system that kind of hangs out in here and that your team can decide on, what we can do is also keep the firm in our minds is how can we create a more positive experience for our clients. Now, even though we have our communication guide, we can rank them, we can create kind of different tiers, just like this has, of how we're communicating. So for our AAA clients, it's a little different than our single A. We can also create something in the system called a user-defined field, where this just means that it's a customizable field within Redtail that we can put in additional information or important information for those particular clients that maybe need it to enhance their experience. So let's pop back into our system again. And I know what you're thinking, Jackie, how do I utilize a UDF? Well, we're going to go up to our name in the top right-hand corner and select Manage Your Account. And we'll scroll all the way down to the bottom. So you will need administrative access to be a part of this next section. But if you don't, totally fine. Feel free to ask one of your teammates to maybe add a UDF for you, or potentially ask for admin access yourself. And then from here, we can hit Manage Database Lists. And be careful, on the right-hand side, we'll see our Manage List lists. And the first heading is Accounts. There is a user-defined field under Accounts. That is not the one we're referencing. We are referencing the Contact user-defined fields, which hangs out right under the Contact heading. So from here, this is where we can add a new UDF. And if we come up and click this blue button in the corner, we can really get creative with UDFs. It does not have to be something serious, like potentially it could be a more product-driven UDF, for example, RMD, or who has taken their RMD this year, or who needs to take their RMD, how much. It could also be a fun field, because we have quite a few options that we can select for our user-defined field. So we could do an any text option, maybe if we just wanted to fill out whatever we needed to in that section, or a date potentially, maybe if we wanted to say the day they took out their RMD or the date that they bought their boat. I have seen that before. Some people really love their boats. I had no idea that people love boats so much, but I have clients that put in when their clients buy boats, because that is like having a baby apparently. A list of values, which would be super simple if you just wanted to limit it for yourself. I have seen this for like preferred meeting. If maybe you have someone that wants to meet via Zoom versus in person, or maybe they prefer the adverse. This would be a really easy section to slide that in. Another really good one is just a number. So if you needed to put in a monetary value, or maybe just a number of maybe how many grandkids they have, that's a really easy section to fill out, as well as true or false or yes or no options for just those simple, okay, no, or yes. For this though, we are going to use a list of values, because I am going to put in our favorite fall drink. And I think I did. I did turn on the chat. So you should, if you want to, feel free to suggest some of those favorite fall drinks, or else I'm just gonna make them up right now. I'm gonna put a PSL in here, because pumpkin spice lattes, they're coming back. I don't actually drink coffee, but that's okay. I'm just gonna put coffee. That's a good fall drink. Maybe some, what's that? Is it apple cider? Is that what it's called? Is that like the drink where it's, that just always felt like fall. I'm just gonna put apple cider. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I live in Arizona. We don't drink a ton of hot things here, now that I really am having to go through this list. Oh, we're gonna put hot chocolate. Perfect. Oh, it's a hot chocolate. I like that. And I think that's enough options. So this is really easy. I love having a favorite beverage in here, because what a lot of people will do, or pre-COVID, I should say, oh, yes, thank you, Catherine, AZ represent, proud of you. What a lot of people do when they were having in-person meetings is they would have their favorite drink prepared for them. So now that we have created that UDF, what we can do is now go into that contact profile and add the UDF to the client. Now, if we click back into Miss Elsa here, what we can do is now add this to her profile. If we scroll all the way down, well, I guess not all the way, because then we'll see her open workflow tasks, but down to the bottom quite a bit, you should see a section right next to keywords and tags and financials that say UDFs. So now from here, Elsa already has a few, it looks like, but we can add another one. Ooh. So by clicking this add button in the top right-hand corner, we can now select our favorite fall beverage UDF, which I think I went past it. There it is, favorite fall drink. And Elsa's is obviously hot chocolate, because that's her favorite food. I mean, I think it's even in here, like dessert preference, chocolate. But a UDF is a really simple, buildable way for you as a user to help you define those different things that your client likes to use. And there is a special report we can run for UDFs if you ever needed to pull any of this particular information. Now, something else that I would highly recommend utilizing is something called our interests or personal information. So if we go over to the left-hand side and we scroll down to Know Your Client, there is a section under here that's actually dedicated to help you kind of itemize what clients are interested in which topics. For example, so we can see our client review is the first tab to pop up. But if we come down to missed client information, it is important, but unfortunately it's just not as important as maybe some information that you would detail right here in that important information section. So first we can see under Elsa's personal interests, she has a couple already, but this is the area, almost like a UDF, but a lot more simplified, where you can just put in things they're interested in. So if you're someone who maybe, this is honestly one of the most common ones and questions I get utilizing this particular section is, where do I put their political preference? So I know either that it's okay to talk to them or that maybe I should steer away from conversations with this particular individual. That's totally fine. This would be a great place to put it. You could absolutely say, you know, is interested in discussing politics, is not interested in discussing politics, leans left, leans right, voted for Biden, voted for Trump. However you want to itemize it in the system, the interest could be a place that you decide to select that, as well as keywords. So keywords could also be a section that you utilize to either group maybe an entire sect of people in the system, or maybe just one or two that you want to list as these are people that are potentially interested in maybe a certain activity. So another big part of our aspect of client loyalty, I know pre-COVID, hopefully we're going to get back there pretty soon, would be those client events and hosting events. Keywords would be the most popular place that I would notice that people could identify those particular clients that maybe want to participate in those activities, as opposed to maybe the interest category as well. And I do want to notate for everyone on the call that these personal interests and these keywords are searchable. So you can go into the advanced search and utilize them really simply just by running a search, and it'll pull up everyone on that has that particular interest or that particular keyword. Really easy to pull that up, especially for client loyalty purposes and contacting. Now, finally, the last section we're going to go over for our client loyalty is just those templates and where we can put them. Now, if you are someone who's like, Jackie, I really want to run a mail merge, I really want to run a broadcast email, but I don't know where to put that information. Well, that's the last thing we're going to talk about. Actually, I lied. We have one more thing we're going to talk about, but this is the second to last. So if we come back down to manage your account, there is this third section that exists right under here. And this is where we can create those email templates or potentially copy and paste the email templates for broadcast emails, as well as those mail merge templates. Now, in the help desk, there are mail merge templates and broadcast email templates that you can, I know for a fact the mail merge templates you could just download, and if you have Word, it'll pop up in Word right away. The mail merge, the email templates, you may have to do a little building on your own, or maybe deciding kind of which one works best for you or what style you want, as well as connecting your email on the back end for those broadcast emails to go through. Now, I know we went over a lot today, folks, and we're almost done before, you know, it's time to go about your day again and hopefully go make lots of clients super loyal. But there is one question that's kind of been floating around in the back of my head, and it's, you know, Jackie, what if people don't want to be a part of client loyalty? What if people don't want a birthday reminder? What if they don't want to be reminded that they have a marriage anniversary coming up or that they've been with us for a year? That's totally okay too. So what we can do is if we go into our client profile, I'm going to go back up to my little cheerleader up here. And you know what? Let's pick on Elsa again, because I think she's the coolest. Coolest. Oh, I'm kidding. I make myself laugh. Anyway, so from here, if we come into this edit section, for birthday specifically, there is a really simple way to take someone off of being a part of that client loyalty experience, would be to just not enable that date of birth reminder. So this way, if we press save and maybe run that search again, Elsa wouldn't appear on it anymore because she no longer has a birthday reminder. Yeah, and for those clients that, are maybe religious reasons, like Jehovah's Witnesses that don't celebrate birthdays, we want to be respectful of their wishes as well. So that's a really easy way to do it. Another way that I would recommend would be to either for potentially client census date or date of birth or marital anniversary, if you still wanted to track it, you could leave it in here, but I would potentially make a note in the important information section that that particular client does not want to celebrate their marriage anniversary. They do not want a card, or potentially even adding a UDF for those clients that do not want to participate in any client loyalty programs. So that way you can make sure that there is always a very clear reference on their profile that they do not want to participate. Awesome sauce. Now, let's pop back into our PowerPoint one more time before I let you all go. And there are just a couple of other really cool days or potentially times that we could notify people about appreciation, or just make them feel a little bit more like the firm is a family and that they're welcome and that you are excited to have them. So like we talked about those marital birthdays, client census days. There are lots of different ways that we can thank people. You can send cards. I've definitely seen some extravagant things like bottles of wine, like we mentioned, or events or tickets to a show is really cool. So if you maybe have like maybe like supporting local business and you want to work with your local businesses to help give those kind of perks, I've definitely heard of firms working with other businesses like that, and it's always been appreciated. I love calling to sing happy birthday. So if any of you become my clients, just know you might get a phone call. No, I'm kidding. Annual events that are good to celebrate too. So New Year's, Valentine's Day, the holidays. If maybe your firm wants to celebrate the holidays and just send out like a greeting card for, those different times a year where it is like the 4th of July or maybe even around Thanksgiving. It's really easy to send out something like a calendar. Or maybe I have seen a firm send out a pretty funny calendar. We have our dog calendar, of course. Making your own bouquets or like activities you can send home for cool things like Father's Day or Mother's Day, as well as things you can do as a family on like Thanksgiving, or potentially just thankful, maybe just sending them a card that you're thankful for them around Thanksgiving as well. And finally, some life events that I would highly recommend reaching out to clients about would be things like new babies. Super easy to send a gift from their registry, or maybe even just a fun card, like congratulating them. I don't have any children. Anyone out there that does, you deserve all the cards and medals of honor in the world. Kids are wonderful, but they take a village. Graduation, or potentially new puppies like me. I get a new dog like every week. But these are just some of the ideas that you and your firm could potentially come up with to stick out, so that way you make yourself known to those clients that you really do care and that you value not only their accounts, but also them as people, and just make them feel special on those particular days.
Thanks so much for joining us today for this particular session. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 800-206-5030, option 3 for support, or just shoot us an email over to support@redtailtechnology.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.